Honourable Member for Bass, Mr Ferguson.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I'm pleased to be having the matter of public importance today, debate today raised by the Labor opposition. Of course, today is Alternative Budget Day. Today is the day where later in the order of business we'll be able to listen to the opposition leaders and the Shadow Treasurer's alternative opinions about what revenues should be different to what is published in the budget papers and what expenditures ought to be different. But before I turn to the broader subject matter, I just want to pick up the Shadow Treasurer on some key failures by him to honestly represent the backdrop to the GST changes. Those changes were bad for the country and they were bad for Tasmania, in my judgment, and I've said that before. The thing that the Tasmanian government under then Treasurer Gutwin did agree to was the no worse off guarantee. And you see, this is the problem when we have puerile debates in this House where the Labor Party wants the gallery and the listening public and future Hansard readers to have a Labor opinion of history, which is actually not history. It's incorrect.
That's
It
right.
was a policy first promoted by the Labor Party in Canberra,
right.
a thought bubble by the then Shadow Federal Treasurer, Chris Bowen, to try to win seats in Western Australia.
Right. That's right.
I agree with Mr Winter, the honourable member, that it was implemented under the federal Liberal government. It was a bad decision which was agreed to by federal Labor.
That's right.
It was bad for the country.
That's right.
Mr Winter, it was bad for Tasmania.
Order. Order.
The Tasmanian government under Treasurer Gutwin agreed to the no worse off guarantee. And you see, this is where this House is poorly served by members who would misrepresent the record in the way that Mr Winter has done. The only thing I will say is that Labor are also wrong when they say that they've stood up for our GST. They did not give us any assistance when we did eventually and successfully get the GST exemption on the Macquarie Point Stadium, a result that was fought for by this side of the House with the help of Tammy Tyrrell, and I've previously credited her with that as well. And I was very pleased to see that come through despite significant opposition from Labor. Now to the budget, which we will debate.
Mr Winter, please.
Mr Winter's very touchy now because he's been called out, and I'd ask the Speaker that he be contained. Now, I would like to say, Speaker, that
members on my left,
an important task in front of us. State government balance sheets have been walloped around the country with the exception of WA, and we ought to be able to agree on that. Through COVID, Commission of Inquiry responses, which have been very large outlays by this Parliament, by this government. We've of course seen responses to inflation, massive challenges facing our communities, and of course escalations right across the board in response not just to inflation but of course more broadly to those global circumstances that put up the prices of everything from red tomatoes to cold steel. It's affected our economy, and our state is showing some of the most resilient outcomes in the face of that compared to the rest of the country. However, we cannot continue to borrow money year on year to pay for operational expenditure.
Right.
That has been something said by every member of this House at one time or another, including our Labor opponents. They have, however, criticised the government for net debt and increasing deficit budgeting, but now they are criticising the government for turning that around. It is now, as the Treasurer said in his budget speech, it is now the season for restoring those stronger, sustainable financial outcomes. But of course, you could set your clock by it, as is typical in Tasmanian politics, the Labor Party, having demanded more sustainable finances, are now criticising more sustainable finances. I want to also point out that as for the situation in health, the health budget goes up. I didn't just get it from the budget papers. I also got it from Dr Broad's own mouth. He acknowledges that health expenditure goes up in the future forward estimates years. Yes, there are efficiencies to be found, but the alternative is higher taxation or continued deficit budgeting with higher net debt to grow in the out years. They are the real choices that serious politicians have to make, and it's with that that we might actually have an honest debate.